Picture this, a newborn crying at 3 a.m. in a Paris apartment. The mother wakes up, she hears it, and then she does something that would make most American parents break into a cold sweat. She waits. Not because she doesn't care, not because she's exhausted and gave up, but because she knows something most Western parents have never been told. And by the time that baby is 2 months old, she's sleeping through the night. Every night. While her American counterpart down the street is still getting up 4, 5, 6 times before dawn, wondering what she's doing wrong. Here's the thing, she's not doing anything wrong. She just was never taught the French way. Now, I know what you're thinking. French babies are just different. My baby is different. And look, I get it. But here's what's fascinating. Researchers who've studied infant sleep across cultures have found that French babies cry significantly less than American babies by 2 to 3 months old. Not because of genetics, not because of luck, because of a specific set of parenting beliefs that French mothers pass down like recipes. Pamela Druckerman, an American journalist living in Paris, noticed it first. She wrote an entire book about it called Bringing Up Bébé. And what she uncovered wasn't a trick or a sleep training program, it was a philosophy, a way of seeing your baby that changes everything. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to have 3 principles that French parents live by and one specific thing you can start doing tonight. Let's start with the first principle, and it has a name: la pause. When a French baby cries in the night, the parent wakes up, hears it, and pauses. 2 minutes, maybe 3. They don't rush in, they don't scoop the baby up. They don't panic. They listen. Because here's what most Western parents don't know. Infants cycle through sleep stages roughly every 2 hours, and at the end of each cycle, they often cry out, a little whimper, a short wail, and then, if no one intervenes, they sink back into the next cycle on their own. That's normal infant sleep. That's how it's supposed to work. But the moment you rush in at the first sound, you interrupt that process. The baby wakes fully. Now she actually needs you. And a habit is born. Not because the baby is doing anything wrong, but because you accidentally taught her that crying always brings someone running. What happens neurologically is equally important. When you interrupt that natural sleep cycle repeatedly, you're preventing your baby's brain from completing the consolidation process that leads to longer stretches of sleep. Her nervous system doesn't get the chance to learn its own regulation. She becomes dependent on external soothing because she never developed internal capacity for it. It's not a flaw. It's the predictable result of a specific parenting pattern repeated night after night. The French understand that those 2 or 3 minutes of waiting aren't empty time. They're the space where your baby's developing brain learns something crucial about itself. French parents understand this at a cultural level. They believe deeply that waiting is not neglect. Waiting is a gift. It's the first lesson in self-soothing, and it starts at 2 weeks old. La pause isn't about letting your baby cry for an hour. It's about giving her 60 seconds to show you what she's capable of, and most of the time, she surprises you. Here's the second principle. The French call it le cadre, the frame. Think of it like the frame of a painting. The painting is the child's life, her joy, her curiosity, her mess, her beauty, but the frame holds everything together. Without it, the painting falls apart. Le cadre is the structure French parents build around their babies from the very beginning. Set meal times, a consistent bedtime ritual, no feeding on demand past the first few weeks. Not because the French are rigid, because they believe structure isn't the opposite of warmth. It's the container that makes warmth possible. French babies eat 4 times a day: breakfast, lunch, a late afternoon snack called a goûter, and dinner. That's it. No grazing, no snacking between. And here's what's fascinating about that. When a baby's feeding schedule is predictable, her hunger is predictable. Her body clock synchronizes, and sleep, real consolidated sleep, becomes something her biology can actually achieve. Many modern parents are told to feed on demand indefinitely, and for newborns, yes, absolutely. But the French begin gently shifting towards structure around 6 to 8 weeks, not forcing the baby, guiding her, trusting that her tiny body can learn a rhythm. Think about that for a second. A baby isn't just a bundle of reflexes. She's a small person, already learning what the world is like. And if the world says food comes at predictable times, her nervous system starts to settle into that. Her cortisol drops, her sleep deepens. It's not punishment, it's patterning. The consistency becomes a kind of security. She doesn't have to wonder when the next feeding will come because the pattern is reliable. Babies actually find profound comfort in knowing what comes next. It sounds counterintuitive at first, but a baby who knows dinner happens at 7 p.m. sleeps better at 9 p.m. than a baby who might be fed anywhere between 6 and 8. Predictability is a form of love. Now, here's where modern parenting assumptions usually fall apart. A lot of us were raised on the idea that a good parent responds instantly. Every cry, every sound, every fuss demands immediate action, and if you don't respond, something is wrong with you. You're cold, you're checked out. But here's what the research actually shows. A study published in the journal Pediatrics found no significant difference in parent-child bonding or emotional outcomes between babies whose parents used graduated weighting methods and babies whose parents used immediate response approaches. Not less attached, not more anxious. The same, sometimes better, because a baby who learns to resettle herself at 8 weeks carries that skill into every night that follows. French culture doesn't treat babies as fragile things that might shatter if left alone for 90 seconds. They treat them as small people with emerging capacity. That reframe, going from "my baby can't handle this" to "my baby is learning to handle this," is one of the most powerful shifts a new parent can make. The third principle is this: your well-being matters too. And the French are unapologetic about it. A French mother expects to sleep. She expects to have a conversation with her partner. She expects to eat a meal while it's still hot, not because she loves her baby less, but because she believes a depleted parent isn't a better parent. The family is the unit, and the baby joins the family's life. The baby doesn't replace it. Many parents today live by a different script. The script that says total self-sacrifice equals good parenting. The more you give up, the more you love. And so parents push through months of broken sleep, feeling guilty for wanting more, convinced that wanting rest somehow means not wanting their baby enough. The French look at that and gently disagree. To them, teaching a baby to sleep through the night isn't selfish. It's one of the first great gifts you give your child. The ability to rest, the belief that she's safe without you in the room, the understanding that the people around her can take care of themselves too. A baby raised in a household where everyone's needs matter learns very early that needs are not shameful and that life is generous enough for all of them. And here's where the Doudou comes in. Most French babies have one. A soft cloth, a small stuffed animal, a cuddly comfort object. French parents introduce it early. When the baby stirs at 2 a.m. and the parent pauses instead of rushing in, the Doudou is already there. It smells like home. It's familiar. The baby finds it, holds it, and settles. The Doudou isn't a trick. It's a bridge. It's how the baby learns that comfort doesn't only come from another person, that she can find it herself. That skill will serve her for the rest of her life. So here's your practical takeaway. Tonight, when your baby stirs, give it 2 minutes before you move. Set a timer if you have to, not because you're abandoning her, because you're giving her the chance to show you what she can do. If she's truly crying, fully awake, clearly hungry, go to her, of course. But if she's fussing, cycling, whimpering in that soft, half-asleep way, wait. Watch the monitor, breathe, let 2 minutes pass. That pause, practiced consistently, is how French babies learn to put themselves back to sleep. And it's where the whole thing begins. It won't work perfectly the first night or the second, but French mothers don't expect instant results either. They trust the process. They trust their baby. They trust that development happens gradually and that their job is to create the conditions, not to control the outcome. La pause, le cadre. And the belief that your baby is more capable than you've been told. These aren't French secrets. They're human possibilities, available to you starting tonight.